What's up, guys? We're 11-11. We're playing in 11-22. And the strategy is going to be about the same, right? I'm expecting 1 to 2 pretty big mistakes at some point in the game, and I'm kind of just waiting for those moments to happen. So playing good moves and just kind of trying to be real careful about what I play. So I played c5 just because I wanted to strike at the center. And since my opponent kind of was playing passively, I thought, okay, let's just play c5. Now they're striking with c4. So it's a little bit interesting when you have positions like this because there's a lot of different ways that the game could proceed. I could take here, I could take here, or my opponent could take here or here. So one thing that I like to do is think about, can I create permanent pawn weaknesses? So like, for example, if I were to take here and white recaptures and then I take here, I have created an isolated d pawn, which can be a permanent target for me. Now, you have to be careful because just because it's an isolated pawn and it's a long-term weakness doesn't necessarily mean that it's always good for you. Sometimes the game doesn't last to an endgame. That might not be the best way to approach it. So I think what I'm going to do is just develop my bishop to g4, try to take the knight out of the game. And if this trade happens and the knight comes to c3, my plan is to just swing the queen over to the king side. So I am planning ahead for that. And okay, we're not going to see that. I'm calculating what happens if I take here. Can I win a pawn? Looks like it's going to get pretty tricky. Where's the queen going to go? There's also a thread here. That looks pretty good. And of course, if white takes this way, then I could also take here, and white's pawn structure is going to be totally messed up. So I'm going to go for that with the idea that we can really go into an endgame here with a nice advantage. Okay, this is what I was talking about. So I think I can take here, and the knight comes in. Now, white doesn't have to take right away. They could also take here, which is also interesting. So I'm just thinking through what happens if I take here and white captures here. What am I going to play? Knight to b4, but there's bishop b5 check, which is a super annoying move. I have to actually be careful that I don't let that happen. So with that in mind, I think I might play e6. Because if I ever like move this knight away and this bishop b5 check comes in, I'm in trouble. Because I can't move my king. I would have to block with my queen, which is definitely not what I want to do. But I think with that in mind, I am going to play e6 so that I can recapture here. And it just gives me more options. Okay. So now I'm leaning towards just taking here. Because now I think I can just win the pawn. So we'll do that. Oh, they take this way. So let's analyze. If I take, they take me. I'm going to have the first capture here. They take back. I don't really want to take this, though, because then the queen's coming in. But what I'm thinking is, yeah, here we have that bishop. So here's what I'm thinking. Knight to b4 attacks the knight, also threatens a fork. That looks good. However, there's this bishop b5 check move, which I was talking about. Now, since we've played e6, I wouldn't have to give up my queen. I could play king e7, so that's an option. I would still have the attack on the knight. I would still be threatening a fork. But do I really want my king on e7? That looks pretty dangerous. Now, I don't see an immediate follow-up for white, so I might be able to get away with that, but is that the best that I have? I'd also play knight to e5, but again, same kind of thing. Bishop here is a really annoying move. Can't really stop that entirely unless I'm just going to take here. Then the knight comes in. I don't know that I love that either. So, interesting position. I'm going to have to check this opening afterward. This is very weird how this happened. Kind of feels like maybe I did something wrong just because I'm not loving this. I think I am going to go for this kind of crazy line and see how white is going to respond. But I say that. Hold on. So here's what I'm thinking. I just looked a little bit further. Knight to e4 threatens d6. But I couldn't actually go for the fork. But I could take here. Okay, that's probably okay. All right, so with that in mind, let's play knight to b4. It's going to get pretty wild here. I'm expecting bishop b5. I'm going to have to move my king up. And yeah, we're going to get a crazy position. But I think even after this awkwardness, white still has the issue of dealing with all these threats. This was what I was talking about, knight to e4. If I go for the fork and take the rook, then d6 check is a killer move. I have to sacrifice my queen, and that's obviously not going to end well for me. But if they would have played here, I would have just taken the pawn. I think that was okay. All right, so they do stop the fork, but they allow me to take the knight here. So I'm just verifying that there's no other tactics or anything, but I think I am going to be pretty happy taking this knight. Okay. We can throw in a check here, which actually looks pretty good because then white can't castle. But I can also take this pawn, which also looks pretty good. Let's say white castles. And maybe I don't want to allow white's king to castle like that. So maybe here, king here is what I'm thinking. If I trade this off and then take here with my queen, would I rather that than just taking with the knight right away? That's the question. Ah, yeah, because this is actually an annoying move here if I don't take that bishop. So I think I will do that. I think I will go here, trade the bishop off, and then take here. And we're up a piece. A queen trade would be fantastic. Now, if white is smart, they're not going to trade queens. But still, then they have to like probably move over or something. And I actually have threatening a fork here. Maybe they would have to go to f4 or g4. Okay, they do take, which is not, I don't think that's a good decision. Because now I'm up the piece, right? So we can just kind of simplify and we're going to be just fine. All right, so here we go, defend our pawn. Weird opening, but we did get the piece, and now, white has basically allowed us to kind of trade off. So I could take that, but it opens up the rook. Might be fine. Or what I'm thinking is move my king forward. And that's a two-purpose move. Defends here, but also unleashes my bishop. One thing I'm concerned about is captures, takes, bishop b3. That would be an annoying pin. So I don't actually think I can get away with that. So with that in mind, maybe I do just have to trade. It's too dangerous to step into a pin like that. So, okay, obviously white is attacking here. You can play knight to e4, threatening a fork. Rook to c1 would stop it and attack. And then where does my knight go? Don't really know. Maybe I don't want to do that. I could play rook to c8, defend the pawn this way. Kind of like the look of that. Because I want to activate this rook anyway. So let's go ahead, put it here behind the pawn. I'm expecting probably rook c1. And I'm thinking maybe I can just push forward. And then potentially defend it with a knight. Yeah, let's do that. And even if I end up not defending that and just allowing white to take it and trade off a pair of rooks, I think I would be happy with that. So, okay, rook comes over. So my big problem in this position is what? These pieces right here. So I need to figure out a way to get those into the game as quickly as possible. We have to do it carefully. My king doesn't have a lot of options. So king e6 is an idea. I don't have to worry about this immediately because of the rook. I don't have to worry about this because of my knight. But I think king e6 is a safe move, and then it gives me time to get my bishop out. So let's play king e6. I'm just kind of scanning for tactics. It is a tricky position. White's pieces are very active, and so I have to be careful, but this looks like it should do the trick. Once this bishop gets out here, then I'm in pretty good shape. Okay, they'd like to attack my knight. Do I really care? It is guarding this, so I do need to kind of pay attention to that. So instead of dealing with the threat, which I could do, I think I'm going to create my own threat and attack the rook. So if g5 happens, I'm willing to just allow that to get captured. I'm going to take the rook. Okay, so white does defend that, but now it gives me time to bring my rook over, and notice I didn't even ever have to really deal with that. And now I've kind of simplified. Now I am going to lose this pawn, but simplifying and trading off those pieces I think is worth it in this case, and so I'm okay doing that. Okay, white didn't notice that they could take it. So now I'm going to, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, yeah. So I'm probably going to force trade here just to simplify. Should make my life a little bit easier. Actually, no, I'm going to keep the rooks because I think I can maybe trap this rook with my knight. So I was going to force a trade, but since I lose a pawn and I see a nice idea with my knight here, I think I'm just going to keep it on the board. Basically, I'm going to hop my knight around until I can land like here. I'm also keeping an eye on like these pawns and stuff. Okay, here we go. This actually might be even easier. Check. We can trade this bishop off. Yeah, that's probably the easiest thing. And now that the king has stepped away, this is an easy win. You can do this. Okay. So we'll analyze this game. Yep, and there we go. Let's check the game review. Okay, so we didn't play as bad as I thought. I just felt weird about the opening, so let's take a look at that real quick. Bishop g4. Yeah, I was way off there, and white actually had a nice move. So let me go here to the analysis. What was the best move here? The best move was just e6. Okay, so I was a little bit too ambitious trying to get the bishop out of the pawn chain first. And let's see how white could have made me pay for that. Okay, h3 was not the move. The best move was c takes d5. This is what I talked about. I was planning on doing this, and I was going to bring my queen over here. What was the problem with that? Let's see, d5. And if I hop my knight here, looks like bishop b5 or queen a4 or something, yeah. The issue is this check was super annoying. This check was super annoying. So the correct way to approach it was to just play e6, leave the bishop here, and by leaving the bishop here, if this ever happens in the future, I can actually just block very comfortably. So interesting opening there. Honestly, I wasn't really familiar with this position that we got into, but you can see here this was a mistake. Not because of knight b4. I was supposed to take. Whoa, there was a checkmate. Totally off my radar. Totally off my radar. Wow, okay. Interesting. In my mind, I was thinking takes. And then what do I do about this? And I just sort of stopped thinking. I didn't calculate a little bit further of, hey, white has a bigger problem than you do. Interesting. All right, just goes to show you how quickly these positions can get very complicated if you're not kind of paying attention to some of those details. So honestly, don't feel like that was a great game on my part. We did get the win, but you know, if I play that way at a higher level, I'm going to lose that game probably every time. So all right, let's play one more for this video. We'll see if we can play a little bit more solid this time. All right, let's go e5. Let's defend our pawn. And let's play the two knights. We've been having some good success with this. And here we go. All right, so what do we want to play? We have a bunch of options here. Bunch of options. We can play the typical d5. We can play the Traxler, which we had a good game with before. We can also try that weird Ponziani-Steins gambit. Let's play the Traxler again. Let's play the Traxler again and see how it goes this game. So, you know, typical move is, okay, so this person does not go for the fork. I think this is the best move for white. And I believe we play king e7 here. I think the idea is we want to be able to use our rook, if I'm not mistaken. King f8, you do have the option with the queen, but then you can't go here with your rook. So I'm going to go king e7. Still keeping an eye on this and also threatening h6 now. If white doesn't deal with that, h6 would chase the knight away, which would then leave the bishop undefended and we would take it. So I think what white is supposed to do, if I'm not mistaken, is retreat the bishop. Yeah, I want to say the move is like bishop b3. Basically, you're saving your bishop and you're also threatening at some point in the future to potentially go knight to f7. There might be some other moves that white can play too. Like, I don't know if like d4, just sacrificing a pawn to let the bishop out is a good idea. Castling probably doesn't do much because h6 again is kind of the issue. Yeah, I'm expecting like bishop b3. Let's see what our opponent's going to do. Okay, basically the same thing. Bishop c4, basically the same thing. There's still this threat. The only thing here is maybe it's a little bit loose. It's not defended. I don't know if in some cases that could be a problem. Okay, so I think one move is definitely rook f8. But the question is, do we sacrifice the bishop first and then play rook f8? Probably need to, right? Otherwise, white's just going to castle, and what do we have at that point? So I'm thinking this rook f8. I'm also thinking another way to do it is d5. And the point behind d5 is that if the bishop takes, well, then we can get rid of that annoying bishop. Queen comes out to the center. We've got a lot of threats, and white has to be very careful. If the pawn takes, I might just hop my knight into d4 and just try to keep attacking, and we've shut down the bishop from that diagonal temporarily. Also, we've let our bishop out, which can start attacking stuff. Bishop g4, knight g4, it's an idea. So I am leaning towards that. So yeah, let's just go with d5. It's one of those moves that usually it's pretty good. Like, it's very rarely going to be a bad move. Might not be the best, but it does have some ideas. So let's play d5. Like I said, lets the bishop out. And if they take with the pawn, it shuts down this threat temporarily, which gives us some time to do some other stuff. Okay. So I'm thinking of a couple of things here. I'm thinking of hopping my knight forward, even over to a5 to just gain a tempo attacking the bishop. Normally you don't want your knight on the rim, but in this case, because of the tempo gain on the bishop, it's kind of annoying for white of like, where do they move that bishop to? I'm thinking of that. Bishop g4 would potentially walk into f3. I mean, I guess I could probably also just take this if I wanted to. I don't think that would be the worst move in the world. Super tricky position. Super tricky. What if I take this? What's going to happen if the queen comes out? I bring my rook over. Say white castles. Do I like that position or not? Do I want to sacrifice this while I still can? Force the king out? I think that's probably the way you're supposed to play the Traxler, honestly. Knight to d4. What about c3? I can hop over here. King's probably going to get to safety that way, though. Knight to a4. Where's the bishop going to go? So this demonstrates a good learning opportunity here. I'm playing this opening, which I'm not that familiar with. It's a super complicated opening. This is why learning some theory on a very complicated opening goes a long way. Like even just a little bit of theory, if I would remember it right now, I would kind of know what the plan would be. I'm like, I have no idea. Like there's so many ways, and I'm just not really able to calculate it. So what I like to do in these kind of situations is just go with my instinct. So if you can't calculate everything, what is your instinct telling you is a good move? So I'm going to play knight to d4. I don't know, just moving my knight forward, centralizing it. Seems like it can't be a terrible move. I don't know if it's the best, but I'm going to go with it for right now and just to move the game along. And white does castle. And so I do wonder, like, was I supposed to sacrifice to not allow the castling? I don't know. So what I'm thinking now is, what if I play like bishop g4 now? Because f3 doesn't work anymore because I've got this guy lined up. So white would have to play queen here. I would have a fork, but then this pawn is dropping. That's a problem. What about h6? The knight goes back. Bishop g4. There's bishop e2. I take, and I play e4, trying to take advantage of that, but it's pinned. Again, super wild position. What if I play b5 first, trying to make the bishop decide where to go? If it goes back here, then I can maybe bring my queen in. If it goes back here, well, then this is even more powerful because there's no bishop to deal with that. So maybe I'll play b5. Looks like a pretty tricky move. And I don't want to lose all my time, so I'm going to just make it and see what white's going to do. Because if they go back like this, and I take this with my queen, then I can start thinking about bringing this bishop over and attacking the king this way. If they go this way, like I mentioned, then they can no longer help support after h6. If the knight goes back, bam, we pin it, and that's super annoying for white to deal with. They have no bishop to come back and help. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, white could ignore that, I guess, and just, like, I don't know, bring a rook over and try to attack, but it seems like it's probably not enough to give up a piece for. So, oh, they played d6. Check. Interesting move. Very interesting move. So they want to fork me. Doesn't feel like it's the right move for some reason. I don't know exactly why. Takes, the knight can come in. Then I just move somewhere. And I'm still hitting the bishop. So if you take my rook, I'm going to get your bishop. So I'm pretty happy with that. Question is, which way do I want to take? Take with the queen. Where does it move to? The only issue. Queen to b6, I guess. Takes my rook and I take here. Yeah. All right. Probably pretty good. Take with the pawn. Still moves to b6. So would I rather have a pawn here? Maybe I actually would. Yeah, I would, because it helps support e5 better. Might be pretty useful. Queen's probably going to end up on the same place anyway. All right, so I'll take this way. And after here, I'm just going to bring my queen probably over to b6. Yeah, of course, we're going to lose the rook, but who cares? We're going to get the bishop. Knight's going to be stuck in the corner. And then we're going to have all our pieces ready to attack the king. So yeah, I'm feeling good about how this game is going now. I wasn't a few moves ago. But things can change super quickly in an opening like this. Yeah, white, of course, is going to go there. That's why they played d6. And I think I like this square for my queen best. They're probably going to take the rook, and I'm going to take the bishop. Here's kind of a common idea. A lot of players will go for this line where they maybe lose a piece, but they get a rook. But what you have to understand is if you lose a bishop and your knight is trapped, you're probably going to lose the knight too. So you're actually losing a knight and a bishop for a rook, which is not a good trade for white. So I don't think white should have gone for that route because of that. And on top of that, I'm getting like a free queen move here to like line up and attack some stuff. And I'm able to capture with this pawn and sort of solidify everything. So I don't think this was the right approach from white. So I think we take this. I don't think there's any reason to not take that. Bishop g4. I mean, that's actually pretty good too. Wow. All right, let's see. Here's what I'm thinking. Bishop g4. Can't play f3 because of the check. You would have to queen here, but then the knight takes. Is the queen trapped? Queen actually trapped? Wow. So is that just better than taking the bishop? Maybe it is. Maybe it is. I mean, it's hard to not just play that move because it's so obvious, but this just looks like a killer. Queen goes here. Bam. Queen's trapped. If I'm not mistaken. Oh, this one. Okay. I didn't think that was even. I didn't even think that was an option here. Because of course I can take it with check. He has to go in the corner. I could take here even with a double whammy attack there. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I'd also go here and here, but I don't have a way to get my queen over for the checkmate. So we'll just take this. The double check, so the king's got to move. And then this is going to be a killer move. Hits the queen. Hits the rook. Yeah, I think white is in trouble here. Not to mention, the king is now really exposed because we got all these pawns out of the way. So this is obviously the big threat that white has to deal with. And once they deal with that, I'm going to be taking the rook, I think. Ah, but they can't save the bishop, so there's something for white. I don't think that's good enough, though, because I'm still going to get this guy. Then I'm going to get the rook, and then white's king is in trouble. So we're fine. What a wild game, though, right? In the style of the Traxler. Okay. Didn't think about that. Queen sacrifice so you can play rook check. I'm just going to move. I don't really see a follow-up for white, so yeah, there's two moves, but I just moved my king on either one, and I don't really see a follow-up, so I think we're fine. Get rid of the queen, go back here, and should be good to go. Most of white's pieces are out of the game, so we'll give it to our opponent. Props for, trying to mix it up and doing some interesting stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and get rid of the bishop. Yeah, we can lose ours. It's just a trade, which I'm happy with because I'm ahead material. I guess there is knight d5. I didn't actually think about that. That's, wow. What is going on here? If I go here, check. Wow. That's a killer move. That is a killer move. All right. I think I have to go queen c6, though. There's check. I don't think I want to go this way because the knight comes in. I go here. I get forked. Do I get enough pieces for that? Yes, I would. I'd also go king to f8. Check here. Ooh, checkmate. No, it's not checkmate. I take this. Okay, so but then I lose my queen. Man, super complicated. So much stuff happening here. I don't actually know which way to go. I don't actually know which way to go. I think I should go this way. White can win my queen, but they don't get enough pieces. I'm just not sure if they can do something else. After knight check, I have to go here. There's the queen fork, but I'm happy with that. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. I don't think they have any other good moves. Okay, they're going to go for that. This is fine, though, because I have so many pieces. Yeah, even though we lose that, I think we can still trap this knight. We'll go here, take away the knight's squares. We'll bring the rook over and take it, and somehow we're ahead a piece. I didn't see that at all, though. Knight d5. What a move. Good news for me is white's pieces are kind of like out of the game. So I was just trying to avoid some crazy tactics along here. That's why I didn't block with the bishop. I think we can defend that. Let's threaten this. Play e4. That's a safe move to pre-move, because it's a check. He's going to take the bishop. No, didn't take the bishop. Maybe the easiest thing is just push the pawn. What a game. That was close. I mean, our opponent played very well, I think. And like I said, the opening, I was like, I had no idea what was going on. Let's check the game review on this one. Yeah, 81, 71. Okay. Yeah, 71's pretty good in a Traxler like that. That's actually pretty good. So let's see. What did we do in that opening? Was it good? Was it bad? All right. So that's the best move for white. Okay, that's one of the main lines, which I knew. Bishop c4. d5. Engine doesn't love d5. It is saying rook to f8. Yeah, I had a feeling that rook to f8 was the move. I don't know why I didn't play it. I don't know why. Yeah, so I was kind of way off here with d5 in this case. Also with knight to d4. Yep, just wasn't feeling the position. b5, h6, and knight to a5. Okay, we did talk about knight to a5, but other than that, it was way off. Let's see here. Castles. All right, b5 was one of the top moves. Best move was bishop g4 right away. Oh, it's wanting me to go for this fork? Really? And allow this? Oh no, I would have never done that. Would have never done that. That just looks too scary. Looks too scary. Nope. All right, we'll see. Yeah, we were totally fine here. And then did I mess something up? I wonder. Bishop g4 was the better move instead of taking, so that was fine. Oh, doesn't want me to take this with my knight. It just wants me to retreat the bishop and attack this. Fascinating. Fascinating. And rook takes f6 was the best move. Wow. That's so surprising that our opponent found that move. That's super surprising. I mean, yeah, that's very impressive for an 1100. Bishop d5 and white's like actually in the game. It's like an equal position. That's amazing. Okay, but knight c3 and then knight d5. Yeah, this would have been a good move for white. Knight check. And then we're not taking here d4. Wow, what a crazy. I can't even analyze this game. It's too complicated. Anyway, that's the Traxler for you. Proceed with caution when you play the Traxler. That's all I have to say. But if you've studied this and you know, like, oh, I'm supposed to play rook f8, and then they're going to castle, and then I'm supposed to chase the knight away, and they're going to go back, and then I'm supposed to take the pawn, and they're probably going to, I don't know what they're going to do. Queen e2 to do this, and then I'm going to play d5. You know, if you know that, much easier game. Anyway, guys, that was a close one. Hope you learned something. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Stay sharp. Play smart. Take care.